Many hours on the floor, you know, because I was in and out of consciousness. They looked like angels walking through there to me.
Firefighters had to break through a door to rescue this feisty woman after she fell critically ill, and then her landlord came after her for hundreds of dollars. Good evening, everyone. A few weeks ago, Teddy Triggs was overwhelmed by what turned out to be a violent infection. Harrison firefighters responded, and undoubtedly they saved her life.
They sure did. Perhaps the hardest blow, though, came after she came home from the hospital. Teddy's landlord handed her a bill for the damage caused by the rescue crews. Rich Jaffe shows us how the landlord's perspective changed a bit today after Local 12 got involved.
Teddy Triggs is an artist, a genealogist, and most definitely a survivor. She's lived at the Hillcrest Apartments in Harrison since 2006. While Teddy's beaten 5 different cancers, July 31st after a biopsy, unaware she had a raging blood infection, Teddy collapsed on the floor of her tiny apartment.
I couldn't move. The only thing that moved was my hands. I must have been going in and out of consciousness because it took me I was down on the floor 18 and a half hours. I didn't get myself worked over here to the telephone till 8 o'clock the next morning.
Finally managing to call 911, Harrison firefighters quickly responded.
All I can tell you about them is they had the nicest, cleanest, most polished shoes there ever was, and their pants from here down were just pressed. They were all just very clean and wonderful.
Because that's all you could see?
That's all I could see was their shoes and their pants.
Because the door to Teddy's apartment was locked, the firefighters had to pry it open. When she got out of the hospital a few days later, her landlord, Mike Zimmer, presented her with this bill.
It was $300 and some for the door, $10 for the knob, and he charged me $155 labor. And then at the top, it was an envelope, and at the top he had the mayor's fund and then St. Vincent de Paul. And they said, we can't call them, but you can. And they said, just tell them you either getting the money or you're getting evicted, and we're sure you can't afford to make another deposit.
Lying on the floor, barely conscious, Teddy says her landlord wanted to know why she didn't call him during the crisis.
And then he said, well, why didn't you give him a layout of the apartment and let him come through one of the windows?
I got Mike Zimmer's wife on the phone today and left a message with her that I wanted to talk with him about Teddy's situation. An hour after I left that message, Mike Zimmer called the Harrison fire chief and told him Teddy could forget about the bill. Barely able to make it on Social Security, that came as good news to a very tough little lady. Mike Zimmer told me on the phone that he never really expected Teddy to pay the bill for the door. He said that's why he gave her the numbers for the mayor's fund and also St. Vincent de Paul. But that's certainly not the way she understood it, or the guys at the fire department. Either way, Mike Zimmer finally decided to be a nice guy.
So help me understand this. This happens all the time. The fire department's got to go through the door. Who normally pays? I never thought about this before.
The reality of it is that generally insurance companies pick up the tab for that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. In fact, I talked to the Harrison fire chief about this, and he's gone through many, many doors over the course of his career. He says he has never seen a situation like this one.
Rich Jaffe, good news. Thanks very much.